Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Mary Barbera here. I am coming to you live from my home in Pennsylvania. I have done many Facebook Lives, but never tried a YouTube Live. So if you are here, if you want to say hello in the comments, that would be great. I would appreciate knowing that you can hear me and see me. I'm going to get started answering any questions. So if you can see me, that would be great if you could let me know who you are, where you're watching from, and if you have any autism questions for me. If you can just type them in the chat, and hopefully I will be able to see them in the chat. Okay, so I am, bear with me. Like I said, this is my first YouTube Live, so I am getting used to this whole situation. It looks like we do have my face up on the screen and says live now, so that is awesome. I don't know if, okay, so it says 3 are watching. If you could, I would love it if you could comment and let me know if you're in the autism world. Oh, great. Someone's watching from Singapore. Awesome. And even if you don't have a child or you're not in the autism world, I am a board certified behavior analyst. I have my PhD in leadership, and being a behavior analyst, I actually can answer a lot of questions about behavior and change and all kinds of things. So even if you're not in the autism world, if you can comment and help me out here with my first Facebook, first YouTube Live, that would be great. So I do have somebody chatted, so that is excellent. Thank you for doing that. So today I thought I would talk to you about how I'm on a mission to turn autism around for 2 million kids by 2020, which, as you can imagine, that's going to be a huge undertaking, because I am not just interested in people watching my little weekly video blogs or reading my book. I wrote a book in 2007 called The Verbal Behavior Approach: How to Teach Children with Autism and Related Disorders, which is available in several languages now. It has sold more than 50,000 copies. So I want to get the word out, but I want to get people to do more than just watching a blog or reading a book. I'm on a mission to really turn things around. And the only way I know how to help people turn things around is by, I created 3 online courses, and I have online communities that go with those courses, and to really guide people for the long run. Okay, so Amaritya Ray, who is from India, and he is a part of my online course. So he's pretty active in the group, so I do recognize his name. So thanks for joining, and thanks for commenting. He has a question about the best way to taper off edible reinforcement, as my child won't work for anything short of highly preferred food. It's a great question. I know that in the beginning, especially when a child is an early learner and we're used to, we need to be giving dense amount of reinforcement. So Some of that is edibles, although it doesn't have to be. I mean, I've worked with kids with feeding tubes and special diets, extremely picky eaters where we don't use food at all. So it doesn't have to be food as reinforcement. So I would say to you, and I'm sorry I'm pronouncing your name probably all wrong, if you can phonetically spell that out for me, so I won't butcher it every time. But I would say, since you're part of the course, I have a bonus video on reinforcement systems that you want to take a look at, because it's not just a matter of like giving food or giving short clips of movies or giving, bubbles and how to stop that. It's got to be a transition from dense reinforcement to less dense reinforcement and more intermittent reinforcement. And so some of the reinforcement things that I recommend to get them more on a what we would call a token economy system, or spacing out the actual reinforcement that the child wants, is to have a clicker. And I don't have one laying around. I need to get one. So click for points, and then after a certain amount of points, you get a minute of a video, or you get a small piece of fruit or cracker. That's the other thing is you don't have to use junk food. You could use fruit or healthier foods. I know my one little client, she liked pickles, just sliced down very little pieces of pickles, or so it could be that you could fade it to more acceptable foods, and also to stretch it out by giving points, or we use little plastic bears in a cup. So getting reinforcement like that helps to stretch out the need for food and short clips of movies and sort of thing. So that's a great question. If you are just joining, I am Dr. Mary Barbera, and I am answering your autism questions live here today. I've done many Facebook Lives. If you want to join my Facebook group, it's marybarbera.com/Facebook. I've done some Facebook Lives, and this is my first attempt at a YouTube Live. So if you are here, if you're in the autism world especially, I would love it if you would say hi in the comments, and also let me know if you have any autism questions. Nothing is off the table. You can ask me anything, and I will attempt to answer it. So just a little background about me. I fell into the autism world in 1999 when my firstborn son, Lucas, was diagnosed with autism just one day before his 3rd birthday. I knew almost nothing about autism. I literally felt like I had fallen into a deep hole and was just struggling to climb out to get the information. Back then, I felt like I was in a big maze, making phone calls, trying to get ABA therapy in place, which was the most proven therapy for children with autism, still is 2 decades later, the most appropriate treatment. So ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It is the science of making socially significant changes. It's not just for kids with autism. ABA is a science, and it works like gravity. If you reinforce a behavior, it will maintain or go up. If you don't, if you ignore the behavior, or which we don't use punishment, but if you punish a behavior, it will go down. So we use an entirely positive system. We break everything down, and we give lots of dense reinforcement. We had a question from Amaratya from India. Anyway, he had a question about fading out some of that dense reinforcement, which when people have observed me working with kids, that's one thing they say is they're shocked how much reinforcement I use. And we need to pair up the environment, pair up ourselves, the table, the room, the materials with reinforcement. Otherwise, the child will see it as work, see it as aversive, and we won't be able to make the gains that we can make. So whether you have a toddler or a teen, whether you're a parent or a professional, because I've been in the autism world for 2 decades, not only as a parent, but as a board certified behavior analyst and best-selling author of the book, The Verbal Behavior Approach. I'm also in the online world of course creation. So I've created 3 online courses for parents and professionals so that they can learn how to apply the principles and the science of ABA to help turn autism around, which is my goal. So I can answer any questions. If you would like to learn more about me and my book and my courses, marybarbera.com will get you there. Just Google Mary Autism, it'll get you there. If you have specific questions, you're watching this on the replay, for instance, and you have a question about your child, stims or scripts from movies. So he might watch a movie and then he might say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, introducing, and it's just a line from a movie. And you don't know what to do with that. You don't know whether to comment on that. You don't know whether to repeat it back. You could just type in a Google search and type Mary Barbera scripting, see what I have to say about scripting, because I have done video blogs each and every week for the past year. And they are all here on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, definitely you want to do that now. And you can find me on YouTube at marybarbera.com/YouTube. You can find me on Twitter that way, /Twitter, /Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. So I'm really trying to get the word out, not only through social media, but if you join my email list, if you go to the homepage of marybarbera.com and join my homepage, join my list, you will get a free ebook called More Talking, Less Tantrums. You can also watch a 4-part free video series that I did last year. So there's lots of free content on my site, on this YouTube channel. But like I said, just getting bits and pieces is not really going to help you turn things around. Okay, so we have another hi from Bio, and Chica37 says, what is this about? So glad you asked. I am a mom to an adult son with autism now who was diagnosed in late 1990s. I became a board certified behavior analyst. So I've worked with hundreds of kids. I've traveled the world speaking on autism. I've been invited to very cool places to do keynotes and 2-day presentations. But in the past couple of years, since March of 2015, my focus has really been on course creation. I've created 3 online courses for parents and professionals to learn how to turn things around. And I am now on a mission to turn autism around for 2 million kids with autism or signs of autism by 2020. So my newest course and my really biggest mission would be to help parents and professionals catch the earliest warning signs of autism and to turn it around before it really even gets diagnosed. Autism recovery is actually possible, and it's not just a 2% chance. 3 decades ago, it was shown by Dr. Ivar Lovaas from UCLA that autism recovery was possible in 47% of kids who got very intensive early behavioral intervention. I found out about that study in the late 90s when my son Lucas was diagnosed. And, but I was in denial and missed the early warning signs, was in denial. So even though Lucas started showing signs of autism at about 15 months, and my husband first mentioned the possibility at 21 months, I remained in denial. And Lucas wasn't diagnosed until one day before his third birthday in 1999. So I missed a critical window of 2 years where, had I known what I know now, I feel pretty confident that his life would be different. I'm not sure if he would have be fully recovered, but he remains very impaired. But a lot of my clients, especially the clients that I've started with when they were toddlers, we've been able to really turn things around for them. And, they are now conversational, many of them. They are, in general education settings. Okay, so we have a question. What is considered as intensive early intervention? In the original LOVA study that was published in 1987, he took 59 kids with autism, the 3-year-olds, and he gave 20 of them just whatever was available in California at the time, 1 hour speech, 1 hour OT, 1 hour teacher time. And this is pretty much what's still happening. If you have a child with autism or signs of autism, they're getting very little, like 3 hours of services. Dr. Lovas then took a second control group, and he gave them 10 hours of intensive ABA therapy per week. And then the experimental group, the group that did by far, hands down, the best, was 40 hours per week of ABA therapy. That is pretty much 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And, but newer studies have shown really good success with 20 to 25 hours a week, as long as there's a big parent training component, because really what should happen is that kids with autism or signs of autism should receive ABA therapy in some form during all their waking hours. So when you have your child at the grocery store, you have your child at bedtime, during meal times, you should be implementing solid behavioral procedures. And that's why in addition to being an autism mom and a behavior analyst, I'm also a registered nurse, and I have a PhD in leadership. And so because I think of my nursing background, I am much more interested in training parents, not only on reducing problem behaviors and increasing language, which is really the crux of what we do, what I do. I also am a big proponent of teaching parents how to have their child sleep through the night in their own bed, how to have them eat without fussing, being extremely picky, which is very common. Potty training is a big focus of mine. So you can get a lot of this information for free by just going to the homepage of marybarbera.com, downloading my More Talking, Less Tantrums ebook. It's a 40-page book. I used to sell it for $7. Now I give it away for free. In that book also are some links to some other resources. And then there's also a 4-part free video series that I created last year that has been viewed by thousands of people. And so that's the way I'd start. If you're new to watching me, I also have weekly video blogs right here on YouTube. So if you are subscribing to YouTube, to my channel, spread the word, tell others about it, get on my email list. So every week when I do my YouTube blog, you'll be notified, but you'll also get an email from me summarizing what my new video blog's about. And so getting back to the question of what is intensive enough is most of my clients have gotten 20 to 25 hours per week approved by insurance. That's another change, is that in the late 1990s, a lot of people were needing to like mortgage their homes or move to states that had better insurance coverage. I'm fortunate in that Pennsylvania had better coverage for ABA therapy. Lucas got 40 hours per week of ABA therapy in the beginning for the first year or two. And while he's now a young adult, he still gets ABA therapy. It looks differently. It's ABA is broken down into steps, vocational tasks he does, any prompts that are needed, any behavioral interventions. So I take a very holistic view of any child or adult with autism or signs of autism. And I help break things down so that the child can be very successful. So I am able to stay on as long as if we have any more questions. If not, this is my first YouTube live, so I appreciate the comments that are coming in live so that I know that I'm not just talking in the air. So I just thought I would pop on to YouTube today, do a quick YouTube live. I have done quite a few Facebook lives, and I may even start lives broadcasting to both if I can figure out all the technical issues that might be involved with that. Because I think there are, with 1 in every 68 at least being diagnosed with autism, it seems everyone knows someone with autism, and lots of people are struggling because there's lots of different advice in every profession that works with your child or client, whether it's a speech therapist, OT, teacher, other behavior analysts. And then you get also advice from other parents with kids with autism, your friends who don't have kids with autism. You get advice from your parents, from your in-laws. It's overwhelming. Even just watching all my free content is overwhelming because it's not truly a system, a plan to help you. Where my 3 online courses, it is my goal that everything is tailored so that you start with an assessment. We walk you through how to assess your particular client or child's starting point in every domain, not just in language, not just in behavior, but in terms of sleeping and feeding and whether they're addicted to a pacifier or a bottle or anything else. We help you because there's lots of barriers to learning and lots of kids that as they grow bigger, it gets even more difficult. And my goal is to turn things around as soon as possible, but also that it's never too late. We have people in our online course who are helping teens learn to talk for the first time, helping 10-year-olds talk for the first time, helping 10-year-olds sleep in their own bed through the night for the first time. So it's never too late to intervene. It doesn't have to be 40 hours of at a table drilling. In fact, it's not like that anymore. It should be very much a cross environment so that one of my online members, Kelsey, she's a single mom. Her 2 boys now are on the spectrum. They're both under 4 years of age. And with her older son, she had to, before she started my course, she had to bring him outside with a harness and a leash on to keep him safe. And he used to bang his head on the floor like 60 times a day. And now he's not, requiring any leash. He's not banging his head. He's talking in little short phrases. He's asking for what he needs. And Kelsey was able to take the information that she learned through my course and apply it to her younger son, who, even though he is diagnosed on the spectrum, his language is age appropriate now. And, so I think if we empower the parents, and even if you're a professional listening, we need to empower the parents because the parents are going to be there forever, for as, as long as they can, and they're going to be advocating for the child, and they're going to be really being that child's best advocate and best teacher. You know, a lot of parents are like, I'm not a professional. I don't really want to get involved with the teaching. I'll just hire someone. But I really believe that the parent, and it's usually the mom, needs to be in the captain's seat, taking control, not teaching them 40 hours a week, but, you know, really figuring out what your child needs, and to help your child to be the best they can be. No one has a crystal ball to see how far children can come, but if we apply these proven principles and have the child be happy, be, learning independent skills, learning language skills, reducing problem behaviors, we want them like running to the table, running to the work area. That's really my goal. We do have a question from Angel. She said, I will prepare my questions next time. My 4-year-old autistic son, sometimes it seems like he's going backwards. Sometimes he's talkative. I really have a problem helping him go to sleep. Okay, so, sometimes as children make progress in some areas, they regress in other areas. But, 4-year-old he's still at a very critical spot for you to really figure out what he needs and figure out how he can sleep through the night. My son, Lucas, had a very difficult time falling asleep and staying asleep through the night. We used to play what I referred to as musical beds, and somebody would have to lay with him. And if he woke up at 2 in the morning, he might be awake. In fact, when I wrote my book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, in 2007, my husband said, please tell me there is nothing about sleep in this book, because you are terrible at sleep, at helping Lucas sleep. And I was even I was a behavior analyst since 2003, wrote my book in 2007. And I didn't include any information about sleep in there because I hadn't figured it out. And when I went to present at a conference in Ohio, I met with a behavior analyst out there who I had dinner with the night before I presented, and she was kind of a sleep expert. And she really talked to me through how I had to make it work for Lucas, and how I had to do some pretty easy things to get him sleeping through the night. So I did that, and literally he was 10 years old when I got him sleeping through the night. And it only took like 3 or 5 nights of these procedures. I mean, it was very simple. I think I did do a sleep video blog. So if you have, specific things like sleep, if you want to just Google in a search bar, Mary Barbera sleep, you will see what I have to say about sleep. I know I have within my closed membership sites, which do cost money. Most of my information, like on these vlogs and my article, my ebook, that is all free content. So, but I do have a bonus video and a ebook I wrote on sleep within my closed Facebook, my closed membership sites. But you can go to marybarbera.com and check out information, and you can always email me if you have a specific question about joining an online course. I'm always open to, even if, like, technically our toddler course for parents and professionals working with kids 5 and under with either signs of autism or with actual autism. So like for you, Angel, your child is 4. So we just closed that program, and there's a wait list. However, if you are really, you look at it and you want to join, even though it's on a wait list, just email us and we'll see what we can do. If it's possible for you to join, we can have you join. So that particular course has the sleep bonus video and the sleep ebook. Okay, and Charmaine says, I really enjoy and learn from your blogs, Mary. I work as a behavior interventionist in an education setting. Thank you for doing these. I find them very informative. Awesome. And my hope is really that through these video blogs, people will learn proven strategies and begin to see that ABA, from my vantage point, really the child should and can be very happy, running to the table to learn. The graphs, the data, everything should be looking very in a positive direction. Parents should be less stressed, not more stressed, no matter if you have a toddler just showing signs or a teen with moderate to severe autism. I am really looking to turn things around. All right. Sarisha said, my child is 2.5 years old with a diagnosis of autism. I enrolled with early intervention, OT, speech, developmental therapy. She's currently nonverbal with random babbling. Will she be able to talk? Most of my clients have definitely, I'm going to type in a link here. So it's marybarbera.com/toddler course. And if you go on that, it's just a few pages long. It's information about my toddler course, and there is a waitlist button. But if you email us or message us through that page, we will see if we can let you join us, even though we did get started, but it is all the information is available, kind of go at your own pace. In my experience, kids do talk almost all the time. We can get kids to talk, and definitely at 2.5 years old. But within my toddler course, for instance, I do say that there is a lot of correlation in my experience with toddlers like your 2.5-year-old or even your 4-year-old, who I'm not sure, Angel, if your child is talking. Yeah, he is talkative at some points. So, but for kids that aren't talking at all, they almost always have feeding issues, bottle, pacifier, sippy cup issues, because a typically developing child should move from bottle or breast to an open cup and a straw. And if that doesn't happen, and fade out the pacifier, and if the child has a pacifier in their mouth all the time, that's a problem. If a child is still addicted to the bottle or breastfeeding, and that is not then progressing. You know how like baby foods progress from like very smooth to chunky to real foods. If children don't learn for whatever reason, if they are stuck, developmentally back here, or they're very picky, or they can't stand the textures, or they gag, they're not learning to move food around in a normal way in their mouths or liquids. That's going to affect their ability to talk. And a lot of kids with autism also have apraxia. So I would really encourage you to check out marybarbera.com/toddler course. Also, a lot of my video blogs are on helping very young children. So check that out. I would have hope that your child will talk. But sometimes talking and being conversational are two different things. Like my son Lucas he always had a little bit of language. And we got a lot more language. However, he is not conversational still. So he can answer questions. He can tell me what he needs for big things. He can, answer what his phone number is and that sort of thing. He can tell me what flies in the sky, but, it's not conversation. So while, yes, I see most kids, even if they're not talking at 2 or 4, are are talking at 8 with these proven techniques that I teach about. It's unknown whether your child will be conversational. But my thought is, especially with very young kids, is we have to turn up the burners. We have to get as many great procedures in place as possible and get them to be their best self and really intervene now before it gets more, your brain is more plastic, more moldable. Your neurons can be kind of rewired. Just with ABA therapy, just with working systematically in a positive environment. Okay, so Sharisha says, I'm trying to find ABA therapy for my child. How many hours would 2.5-year-old would be able to take? Can we choose the hours? Most of my 2.5-year-olds got 20 to 25 hours a week. But I think in all honesty, I think if you took my toddler course, you would learn how to engage him during the hours that you would, you and he both have from 10 a.m. to noon every day. And you would learn what to do during those 2 hours to engage him. Because, getting ABA therapy is not as easy as you make a phone call and you get it. It's insurance copays, it's finding ABA therapists, it's like the copays are sometimes a big issue. Even finding ABA therapists, all ABA therapists and BCBAs, board certified behavior analysts, are not created equal. They may have more experience with older children and not so early intervention focused. In my course, in my toddler course, marybarbera.com/toddler course, I go through the 6 modules are very much laid out for parents, kids under 5, and early intervention professionals too. But it's very much laid out for parents to walk you through what to do. And how to advocate and what to look for. Like the people that started my course when I created it in the fall, they said like they didn't even know what questions to ask an ABA provider. They didn't know what to look for. And so they were able to, within our closed Facebook group, really get information about how they should proceed, because everybody's different. You might have a 2-year-old. This woman has a 5-year-old. This woman's son is talking in little short phrases. Your son is not talking at all, not potty trained, not imitating, not, like all these different variables, yet with the system in place of one of my online courses, the toddler course specifically, is very much will teach you how to assess, how to make a plan. And if you have any trouble, we will help you. And I think sometimes this free information is actually a double-edged sword, where I'm giving you this free information or showing you how to use Potato Head, yet if you don't have the whole system in place, the chances of you being able to really pull out Potato Head and make it a really good teaching session over and over again is very slim, because you won't know the type of reinforcement needed. A lot of kids have, throw Potato Head, throw the parts, want to hold the parts, don't want to, there's just so many nuances that only within my online courses am I really able to teach you how to do it yourself. That's why I stopped taking on new one-to-one clients. I stopped speaking internationally because if I went to Australia last year. I spoke in front of 300 people for 50 minutes. I did a keynote presentation. I'm not going to help them turn things around. Like, it is complicated. So I would say, if I were you, Sharisha, I would learn what to do yourself. And then make a plan to get help, to get additional help, but you will learn to be the captain of the ship, and you will learn, like one of our members in the toddler course, she got ABA therapy after she took the course, and she had to like let her go right away because she had a totally different philosophy. She was having the child crying. She was keeping the demand on, and we don't do that with my my courses. We really want the child to be happy and learning. One of our members was taking her child to private speech, and the child was crying on the way into the speech therapy, and the speech therapist insisted that mom stay in the waiting room, even though she just drove 70 miles to get her child there. Like, no one should be taking your child away from you doing therapy. The child is crying. You're in the waiting room. Like, that just, so we coached her within our Facebook group. Hey, tell her you want to be there, or switch therapists, or you've got to do something because you know how to have your child run to the table. And this woman, well-meaning, but she's unpairing everything, and she's making the child have problem behaviors. Yes. So, good. So Sarisha, yeah, the toddler course is technically closed, but if you message us, we just closed like a week ago, and we can probably get you in if you're still interested. So we can give you more information. So yeah, just message us and we will help you. Angel said, my son is still on the waiting list for ABA, and it's been a year now since my husband applied. Yeah. And these waiting lists are huge. And in the meantime, 2, 3, 4 years old, those are critical windows of time where you can really get the most bang for your buck. And people are waiting. And that's why actually my toddler course used to be waiting for autism, because it's like you're either waiting for a diagnosis, or you're waiting for treatment, or you get treatment and then that therapist leaves, or your insurance changes. It's just so complicated. And I often say, if this was cancer, if you thought your toddler had cancer and you were told, oh, you have to wait 6 months or 9 months for an evaluation, and then, no, yeah, he does have cancer. Now you have to wait another 9 months or a year for chemotherapy. Like, it's just ridiculous that parents have to wait. And that's another reason that I have really focused on my online courses, my online video blogs. I want to get the word out because there's millions and millions of people around the world struggling, and I want to be your guide. So whether you have a toddler or a teen, I can help you in terms of giving you guidance, but I can't give you guidance. I'm not your child's behavior analyst, even if you purchase the online course, but within our closed Facebook community, I have some Team Barbera coaches in there. I've got other parents who are seasoned, and we really do have a great community for both parents and professionals who can learn and see transformation in their own child. So I have been going on for about 45 minutes now, so I am going to close out today. I would really encourage everyone to subscribe to this channel, and also go on marybarbera.com, download my free ebook on the homepage, and watch my free video series to get information about me and about my courses and how it might help you. If at any point you have questions, specific questions related to your child or how to join one of my courses, email us at info@marybarbera.com. I am preparing to do some more free webinars and to open up my early learner course and intermediate learner course soon in early March. So make sure you're on my email list so you'll get notified when those free webinars are available. And I will try to do more YouTube lives, but also I do a lot of Facebook lives normally. So go on marybarbera.com/Facebook and join me there to get notified when I go live there. But this has been fun. Thank you for joining me and for all the questions. And I look forward to seeing you here again real soon. Bye.